Hopefully, you were able to, in some small way, return to a sense of normalcy, at least for one day, as this week began with the first Monday holiday since this tragic pandemic began. We stopped to reflect on those fallen servicemen and women who throughout history have protected our freedoms and the American way of life. Also last weekend, the PRLA board officers, along with members of the PRLA team, collaborated with Governor Wolf's team to develop reopening standards for restaurants, both for outdoor dining in yellow counties and indoor dining in green. Undoubtedly, this is a huge first step to bringing our industry and the good people that depend on it back to life. As you are surely aware, green, as in the green phase of the Pennsylvania reopening plan, does not mean all systems go. For restaurants, it is only the first phase of reopening. Certainly all of us yearn for things to be back to normal, and some think we should go back to normal regardless of the health risk and consequences. While I certainly am not a scientist or a health expert, it's clear that at least until there is a breakthrough regarding COVID-19, we will have to deal with a new normal. We are appreciative that the Wolf team and the governor himself consulted us so that the health and science-based restaurant standards could be carefully blended with operational practicalities. While it may feel like the restaurant standards are restrictive, and relative to how we operated just 2 months ago, they certainly are, it is clear that they are among the most balanced of those that have been rolled out during the first phase of restaurant openings across this country, especially in the Northeast, the epicenter of the virus. Today, we conducted a reopening webinar to help restaurateurs across the Commonwealth understand the nuances of this, the first phase of standards for restaurant reopening. 1,000 people attended the webinar. PRLA will continue its efforts to inject sense and practicality into safety as we continue the process of reopening. As always, we stand ready to help in any way that we can. Today, 18 counties went from yellow to green, and the governor has announced that all counties will be in yellow by next Friday. Green County restaurants can offer outdoor and indoor dining based on the regulations that have been established, and as of next Friday, June 5th, yellow counties may begin outdoor dining as well. We anticipate a weekly announcement of new counties moving from yellow to green. Among other news this week, longtime PRLA member and past chairman Michael Passalacqua testified before the Senate Republican Policy Committee about reopening Western Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania House and Senate was in session this week and passed an interim state budget. The budget will only cover 5 months and is flat funded. Both chambers will reassess the financial ramifications of the COVID-19 pandemic in November to determine how to budget for the remaining months of the budget year. The City of Philadelphia amended its orders to allow walk-up ordering at restaurants, food trucks, and mobile food vendors. Face masks and lines less than 10 are required. Appearing in the Tuesday, May 26 edition of the Daily Update was my interview with American Hotel and Lodging Association President and CEO Chip Rogers. Chip filled us in about the hotel industry roadmap to recovery and the AHLA Safe Stay initiative that has been endorsed across the nation. You'll find a link to the interview on the PRLA COVID-19 webpage in the Daily Update archive section. Again, click on the May 26 edition. Also this week, the U.S. House overwhelmingly passed a bipartisan bill fixing the Paycheck Protection Program with improvements that are desperately needed by restaurants that have utilized the PPP loans. That said, the future of this bill is uncertain in the Senate, and we need you to let Senators Toomey and Casey know that this bill is important to our industry. You can do so by using the Act Now link on the Daily Update regarding the Paycheck Protection Flexibility Act. Back in Pennsylvania, the PA House passed legislation that will establish community block grants for businesses with 100 employees or less. The funds must be distributed by July 15th. The PA Senate is expected to pass this measure shortly. As we begin the first phase of restaurant reopening in Pennsylvania, I urge restaurateurs to follow the guidance that has been provided so that you can help keep your employees and customers safe. And I would also encourage you to sign on to the Pennsylvania Restaurant Promise to help reassure the general public that we're taking extra steps to safeguard their health. As always, thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of It Happened This Week, and stay safe. I'm John Longstreet, and I'll see you again next week.